were just with LeBron a few moments ago. You haven't been around him in quite a while as a Cleveland Cavalier.
That's right.
Tell us what the mood was and what he had to say.
Well, first of all, it was supposed to start about 6:30. Started about 6:45. Guys, I've covered a lot of press conferences in my career. That's what I do.
Sure.
This is one that I was probably most anticipating. It was unbelievable in there. About over 100 media members. It was packed. And while you were waiting in that 15 minutes, I was starting to get butterflies, like nervous. It was that kind of energy in there. And then when he walked in, the great thing about it is LeBron has said tonight is all about the kids. He brought the kids in. The kids were behind him as he was speaking, and he went and shook every one of their hands before he started speaking with the media. And then he started taking questions. He opened up talking, as you heard, about the kids and how important they are. He says this is the biggest night for him, is this night. Let me throw a few things at you that were highlights to me. Number one, when he talked about the letter, he said it just hit him, how to go about doing it and what he wrote. And he said, I think it went over well. I would agree with that. As far as when he made his decision, he said once he came back from his family vacation, and then he went to Las Vegas for the camp. He said in that 48-hour period, that's when he made his decision to return to the Cavaliers. So there you have it. LeBron decided in Vegas. That's when he wrote the letter, and he made it all come together. As far as playing with the Cavaliers, he said he loves the chip on Deion Waiter's shoulder. He can't wait to play with Kyrie Irving, and he did bring up Kevin Love. Technically, Kevin Love not in a Cavalier yet. We're waiting for that to become official, but he talked about Kevin Love's IQ and how he can't wait to, he didn't say play with Kevin Love, but talked about the excitement of Kevin Love. Let's talk more about how we got to this point, because it clearly is an unbelievable last few months when you think about how LeBron James is coming back to Cleveland. And really, it all was set up by the Cavs getting that lottery victory, a 1.7 chance of winning the lottery, and they did. Then back in June, of course, LeBron loses the NBA Finals. He doesn't have the pressure to have to try to win 4 in a row. Opens up the door right there for the SI letter, I'm coming home. Oh boy, and he's home, and we really felt it yesterday when he was in Berea. Look at that, with Joe Hayden and talking with Johnny Manziel. And Cleveland fans really starting to feel that he is back, and that title could come to Cleveland finally. And really, that's what it's all about for LeBron. He's done everything in his career, everything except win a title for Cleveland.
For as much as he's given us, you know, for us to be a part of this, hopefully, and help him do what he wants to do, would be awesome. But he's always driven, you know, and he'll always continue to be better. But that's just a commitment. Shows how committed he is to winning championships, and I don't think that'll ever go away.
And obviously Miller, one of the guys he has brought in, and we're going to see them all playing together for the first time on October 5th when they take on David Blatt's former team. That's the first preseason game at the Q, your first chance to see LeBron. Then they take on the Heat. How about that? Can I have a ticket for Brazil, please?
he knows Rio by now, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And then as we turn the page, you see a game in Cincinnati there, and then a lot of people will be excited as they'll take on the Bulls, and that will be October 20th in Columbus. You have a game in Cincinnati, then you have one in Columbus. 7 preseason games in all. So 2 more things for you guys. When you look at Mike Miller and you talk about James Jones and then Kevin Love coming here, LeBron really is the GM of this team. I mean, we all joke about it, but he's the guy bringing in all this talent. So that's what's exciting right now, is he's built the foundation around him to try to bring that title to Cleveland. And one last thing, he was asked about, you know, why didn't you sign a big deal? He did the 1-and-1, so he could opt out of his deal, but really that's about him being able to secure a bigger deal later, more money. But he said back there, he goes, basically, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm too tired to do it all over again. And quite frankly, we are too, LeBron. Welcome home.
You say it was the most anticipated press conference of your career. This is a guy who said this is the biggest night of his year, but he's always so subdued. He's a very low talker. You know, he doesn't show a lot of exasperation. Did you sense a sense of excitement, or was it kind of the LeBron of old who, you know what, it's all cool, not going to make too many waves here?
No, totally what you just said. Really, covering LeBron in all the years that I've covered him, he has always been ready to go with whatever you throw at him. There's been a few times where I saw LeBron rattled. When he made his first decision on national TV, you could tell he knew that was the way he was doing it was a mistake.
Right.
The other time was when he came back for the first time, and I was in the locker room interviewing LeBron with everyone else after that game, and if you remember, he didn't come out. When he was introduced, he didn't come out, and he made the excuse that he had to go to the bathroom. All right, that was the one other time I saw LeBron thrown off his game. The first time back to Cleveland, and he made that decision. That's it. He is completely calm, ready for tonight, ready to be back in Cleveland. He was ready in there,
That's
Chris.
great.
I mean, he was right. He looks great, too. Shed about 10 pounds. The guy is a machine of muscle. Wow.
And everybody is here to see him, to hear from him. And as you said, he had a lot more to say. We're going to hear more from him at the from that press conference coming up at 7:30. And then again later tonight, he's going to come out here and take the stage. And you were talking about that night, the first night he came back, one of the only times he was ever rattled. And I saw him in several interviews talking about that, how that just disturbed him. It bothered him that the people here were booing him, that they didn't love him anymore. He's going to get a lot of love tonight. 30,000
especially from this crowd, an Akron crowd, right? I mean,
yeah, and I think LeBron, when he made the decision, he didn't know it was going to go over as poorly as it did as far as the wrath that he took from Cleveland fans. He hated seeing his jersey burnt, and he hated that feeling he got from people. But let's not forget, guys, one thing I want to say. Akron, for the most part, has stood behind him through all of this. I mean,
and
really,
vice versa.
Yeah, yeah. He even said that. Even coming back in the last 4 years, it was all about this night. And remember, he still came back to do this when he was in Miami.
Akron first. We'll hear more from LeBron coming up, as Chris said, coming up at the bottom of the hour.
There's a lot more coming
Thanks,
up.
Dave.
This is going to be a fantastic event. This took a lot to put on. You see this event.